this session here. I am attempting to stream on both X and YouTube at the same time. We're going to see how well that works out here, actually. I'm going to check the links right now. Make sure we're coming through. Looks like we are on X. Looks like we have arrived on YouTube. I appreciate everybody. Hope everybody's having a fantastic Friday evening. And looking forward to coming on here. It's, been a great week here over here as far as my family, my business, everything and the progress that's being made right now. But I just see broader momentum behind our community as well that has me so excited. And so I wanted to hop on a session here to talk about what's taking place in these markets. We saw that correction that I've been warning about, and I'm still concerned. This is nowhere near the much broader, bigger correction that I am expecting to come in. But nonetheless, I like having our community prepared for these pullbacks. And as I said in my short video that I posted earlier today, we were waiting for the pullback. And so that was no surprise for us. We were prepared for that. But then also understanding that the fundamentals continue to get better and better on utility distributed ledger technologies like XRP. So the fundamentals continue to get better, and meanwhile, the problems around us get bigger, get more present, and many people starting to realize why we haven't strapped on the moon suit, put on the moon boots, and hopped into the rocket ship as we see that we still have an ongoing debt, currency, and liquidity crisis, and we're going to talk more about that later. A lot to talk about tonight, so I want to get right on into the episode. But before I do, you guys already know the deal. All of my community resources can be found at zachrector.com, including cryptocurrency exchanges, wallets. If you want to join our exclusive Patreon Discord community, we have our weekly call every Saturday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, so that'll be tomorrow morning. If you wanted to hop in for the live call, you can do so tonight to make it in by tomorrow morning. And then we'll also be back for a YouTube live tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. Eastern. Our new YouTube live schedule is Tuesday, Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern and Saturday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern. Okay. And we come live here on a Friday night too. I had a busy day here today, just hustling and moving. We got a lot of deals cooking over here. And, I wanted to celebrate. So I did pour myself a nice glass of wine here. Cheers to everyone for joining me tonight. Let's have ourselves a little bit of fun. God bless you all. Thank you so much. All right, so let's get right on into it, folks. Let's start here by taking a look at these markets. Bitcoin, we got the 1 hour chart, and as I said, we pulled back to 65,000 this morning. Big pullback for Bitcoin, big pullback for the overall cryptocurrency market, as we were expecting. We double tapped this level right up here at about 73,000, and then we've pulled back here. It's going to be very interesting to see if that was the top for Bitcoin and if we've started the broader correction that we've been kind of anticipating. 3,700 for Ethereum, and XRP did go all the way back down to 59 cents, back up to 64 cents right now as we speak. 14 cents for XLM. Everything's kind of been climbing up the last few hours. A little over 3.5 cents for Flare. Okay, watching that one. XDC pushing back up towards 5 cents, and Algorand at 29. So the one that has been just going nuts has been Solana here, back up to 186, and the top here 188 is what we've most recently hit here for Solana. Now another one, I was in this coin. I've already gotten out, taken my profits, my yellow line, my take profit mark here at 95 cents. I was happy to take my 30% profit, take my money and run, but pumping $1.12, new all-time highs into price discovery. Nice little project. And as I said, when you combine a little bit of fundamentals, nice little narrative to go with the hype and some memes, it's the perfect combination for a rally. And congratulations to everyone in the Say community. That's fantastic. Overall cryptocurrency market cap back down to 2.5 trillion to finish off this week. But I wanted to show you this one. This is very important. To finish off the week, silver closing above $25 per ounce, and gold back down here to 2,155. But gold, you just love to see it, right? Holding on to this all-time high region. Now we're holding 2,150 really well. We did two back tests right here, basically right to 2,150, which was the previous all-time high back in early December, if you recall that. And now we've reclaimed the all-time high territory, holding this level with silver finally playing catch up. We love to see that action. We love to see that action. And this is why I love how well we're positioned right now in this, this market where, on a day when the crypto market's pulling back, where are we making money? We're always making money somewhere because we've diversified so perfectly well, the businesses are cooking. We've made allocations here, precious metals. We've made allocations here in crypto. And despite the pullback in crypto, we see the gold and silver rallying for us. Perfectly positioned. Now, oil's back above $80, and we're starting to see, I'm going to show you later, the commodities are making their move. This is part of the broader commodity super cycle that is just now beginning and starting to take off. That dollar index back up to 103, and this is what we watched over the last couple days here, where that DXY spiked back up and crypto falling back off. Let's take a look here. This is the S&P 500 cooling off a little bit, okay? And this is after, earlier this week, remember, we got the inflation data, and after we got the inflation data, we had all of the stock market and the crypto market that responded really well. It was all pushing up towards new all-time highs. Here's the daily chart for your S&P 500. It wanted to go get a new all-time high. And it's just incredible. But now the market finally starting to realize, and so we closed out here, and we've actually closed the last 7 out of 10 sessions in the stock market have been red. So although we've been chasing new all-time highs, a lot of volatility coming in. Here's your NASDAQ 100 falling back off hard, and your Dow Jones as well. Like I said, they went up on Wednesday, pushing towards that new all-time high, and the VIX did spike back up here today as well. When that CPI release came in on Tuesday, that's when the volatility index did spike back up. Let's see, what else did we want to take a look at? We want to see the 10-year back up. Okay, very important. 10-year back up, and we're going to see that mortgage go back up along with that 2-year back up as well. And we base that mortgage, that 30-year mortgage here in the U.S. is based off that 10-year treasury. Important to watch. And I am going to be speaking on real estate to start off this session. Please remember that for us to survive and thrive during this transition, it's going to be a matter of understanding every single asset class, understanding currencies, understanding debt, understanding businesses. And what we're seeing right now is a real estate reset. That's how I simply call this. It's not markets down across the board. It's not markets going up across the board. I have a fresh real estate update that I'm going to be making here probably this weekend. It's titled Real Estate Goes to All-Time High, which is so interesting because when you look at the Case-Shiller Index, real estate's actually at an all-time high based off of that metric. But when you start to look at some other markets, there's a huge correction underway. Huge real estate reset underway. And in fact, we just had one of the biggest changes to real estate in the past 100 years. And so it's very important to understand this. A lot of folks think they're going to make their gains off of crypto and then become a real estate investor. And we got to make sure that we understand these asset classes before we move in. Same thing with our business. Same thing with real estate. Same thing when we're looking at our private equity, right? We're making moves and we're diversifying amongst the asset classes. I don't necessarily diversify myself incredibly deep across 20 different cryptos, but I diversify myself against the various asset classes so that we're hedged for the market that we're currently going through right now. So, as I was saying, housing market in turmoil, this one from the Coastal Journal. Stocks plummet after NAR's groundbreaking settlement. This is the National Association of Realtors coming to a settlement. And I'll explain what it does in the next one, but we did see real estate, Zillow, Compass, and Redfin, their stocks all trading down off of this news. Checking out this article from CNN Business, the 6% commission on buying or selling a home is gone after Realtors Association agrees to seismic settlement. So very simply, before this deal was done, the seller paid the 6% commission, 3% to their agent and 3% to your agent, and that was the standard in real estate. So the buyer was not having to pay any commission, was not having to pay their agent, but ultimately, right, that was being factored into the cost of the home, right? They were able to sell the home for a little bit more because it was being wrapped into your mortgage payment. So you ultimately were paying it. It just you weren't paying it up front. Now, home builder stocks rose Friday midday on the news, with Lennar shares gaining 2.5% and Pulte Group shares added 0.7%, while Toll Brothers shares adding 1.8%. And so I'm assuming that their shares rose because now they're going to have to pay less commissions to the agents that are selling these new home builders inventory, right? So it's going to be very interesting. For the average priced American home for sale, $417,000, sellers are paying more than $25,000 in brokerage fees. Those costs are passed on to the buyer, boosting the prices of homes in America. That fee could fall between $6,000 to $12,000, according to TD Cowen Insights analysis. Quote, while the settlement comes at a significant cost, we believe the benefits we'll provide to our industry are worth that cost, President of the National Association of Realtors said in a statement. And so in November, a federal jury in Missouri found that the National Association of Realtors and two brokerages liable for $1.8 billion in damages for conspiring to keep agent commissions artificially high. Because it was an antitrust case, the NAR was potentially on the hook for triple those damages, $5.4 billion. The NAR had pledged to appeal the case, but other brokerages settled, and eventually so did the NAR on Friday. So this is going to be very interesting. Settlement could lead to lower home buying costs, right? I've been waiting 50 years for this, says Norm Miller. Okay. So they're calling this one of the biggest adjustments in real estate in the past 100 years. And, you know, just add it. It's another data point that we can add that confirms a real estate reset underway. And it's just so important that we're in tune with this. It's one of the essentials, right? We got to have our roof over our head. And the way that they're calculated in the CPI is absolutely ridiculous, the owner's equivalent rent. And so this is why we got to hone in on the data. I've been making separate real estate episodes because I like to, I like to include the real estate content, even though it's not as sexy as the crypto content. It's equally as important. Supply is arriving. This is from Amy Dixon, Texas runner, Dallas Fort Worth on Twitter. Right as layoffs are ticking up and mortgage rates pop back above 7%. Remember that 10-year bond? That 10-year bond is back up. And so now we're starting to see mortgage rates pop back above 7%. Where inventories grew the most, this is where you got to take it on a market-by-market basis to understand what's going to happen in your real estate market. We are seeing inventories spike in Dallas by 38%, Tampa 30%, Orlando 29%, and a huge wave of foreclosures coming in Florida right now. Now, what's very important to understand is that in markets down south where the weather stays warm, you've already seen the real estate reset, really picking up. They don't have to wait so much for the spring selling season like you do up north, where it's basically frozen until March, April, and then it starts to unthaw, people come out of hibernation, and then the real estate market starts to pick up. Down south, it's really a year-round market because it's already warm, people are already down there, and this is the areas where you've seen that inventory spike. You also have the most amount of new home construction development taking place in Texas as well. And so that Dallas-Fort Worth metro been an interesting market to watch, along with Florida now facing a new wave of foreclosures. And we get this data point I thought was very important as well. They talk about how housing affordability is still the worst on record. So maybe that new settlement might help that slightly, right? But that's yet to be seen how that's going to play out. And there's potentially for a lot more lawsuits. But anyways, housing affordability is the worst on record per Bloomberg. QE Infinity adds the spring selling season is going to be a disaster in terms of volume of the deals that get done, RIP Realtors. And Future Talk says, when refi? Realtors told 2022 buyers they could refinance once the Fed cut rates in 2023. Middle-class families are hurt once again. And this is something that I've been talking about, how this whole thing was just one big joke. And these real estate brokers, these realtors, acting almost as financial advisors, they're getting caught up here because they were the ones that were saying, date the rate and marry the home. They were telling everybody, don't worry, just buy now, date the rate and marry the home. You're going to be able to refinance later. And these are the same realtors. Who were they listening to? The doofus moron talking head sellout pundits on CNBC. They were predicting 6 rate cuts last year. They were predicting 7 rate cuts this year. How many have we got? 0. And not only did the rates not come down, the rates actually spiked and they went up over 8% temporarily. They did come back down below 7% briefly over the last couple months, but now they're spiking here once again. Now that everybody's realizing, wait, inflation's not done. Inflation came in hot on the CPI, came in hot on the producer prices as well. And so how can Fed Chair Jerome Powell cut? He can't. And so what's happening? Bond yields rising back up once again as folks realizing that it's going to have to be higher for longer. And we're not getting 7 rate cuts. I mean, what were they thinking? But these realtors are happy to give you financial advice if it means that they're making that commission, right? And I'm not here to knock realtors, right? There's bad apples in every bunch. Absolutely, right? The best realtors bring value to their clients, right? By educating them, by getting them into the proper home, or by selling their home at maximum dollar. And there's going to continue to be realtors that do bring value to the market. But how many of these realtors were saying that? Date the rate, marry the home. How'd that program work out? And this is why I want you guys to understand real estate before you just blindly follow some broker who's broker than you trying to earn that commission, right? This is the data point, though, that I wanted to share with you guys. Check this out right here from Future Talk. He adds, excuse me, that Vanguard is reporting that 40% of their 401k hardship withdrawals are due to foreclosure prevention. Now, this really, pains me to hear folks having to take 401k hardship withdrawals to make sure that they don't get foreclosed on their home. And this is why I talk about it. Real estate's not the most sexy, but it's so important. And we've been getting really bad advice from some of these folks in the industry. It's just a fact. And so now that the industry is getting checked, now that the reset is underway, I want you guys to be prepared, whether you're looking to rent, whether you're looking to buy, or whether you're looking to be an investor in real estate. Understanding the real estate asset, very important. Let's continue on, folks. Let's get to commodities right here. Agricultural commodities just surged above the Russia invasion levels, reaching near decade highs. How about that fight against inflation, right? Yeah, nowhere near done with that one. This surge is expected to have significant implications for inflation in the global economy, potentially driving food prices substantially higher. It's worth noting that the strong link between agricultural commodities and the equal weighted commodities index, indicating that other natural resource prices are likely to follow a similar upward trajectory. When I say that we're in the early innings of a commodity supercycle, it's not just precious metals. It's not just our shiny pet rock. It's the commodities that run the rest of our lives as well, including the agricultural commodities. The war on rising consumer prices is likely far from over, and a potential policy shift by the Fed should only add fuel to the inflation fire. Yeah, and Jerome Powell is going to try to keep this rate cut out as long as possible. And I've been saying if he really wanted to fight inflation, he'd have to raise rates one more time, at least. I don't think that he has the cojones to do that, so he's just going to try to keep it higher for longer, and he's just going to wait until this thing breaks. And once it breaks, then he'll come in, and then I think he'll finally cut rates and turn that money printer back on. You add that to these inflationary pressures, right? And we are nowhere near done with this inflation fight. The war on rising consumer prices is likely far from over, and a potential policy shift by the Fed should only add fuel to the inflation fire. There is a reason why gold recently spiked to a record level, and in my view, this move is just beginning. Tavi Costa on Twitter, 100% agree. Let's listen to my good friend Andy Scheckman. If you're looking to get precious metals from my good friend Andy Scheckman, he is one of our affiliates at my website, ZachRector.com. If you're looking to get metals shipped directly to you, just let us know. Or if you want to roll over a 401k retirement account, happy to do business with Andy Scheckman, Miles Franklin, one of the best in the business. And it's because he provides educational content like this. He's not here to just sell you. He wants to educate you as well. Listen to him talk about how the BRICS new payment system is going to be based off of blockchain, and it's how we put all of the commodities on blockchain as well. Here we go.
It was an interview with a man named Yuri Ushakov, and he works at the Kremlin, and basically came out and confirmed what we already knew, that the BRICS nations plan to develop a new payment system based on blockchain. But what's really important to understand is the dynamics of it and what they know. All that leads to adopting a new international currency is that we really don't need to go large scale. BRICS is enough. He said the idea of the currency is that there will be two baskets. One basket will be of national currencies of all the countries involved in the process, like the SDR, which is the special drawing rights of the International Monetary Fund, by the way, but with more clear and understandable criteria. Okay, so they're going to have a basket of a currency that's based upon local currencies and a basket of commodities. Now, we assume that main commodity will be gold because it is the world's only other tier one reserve asset. And the central banks have been buying it and repatriating it from the Bank of England and the New York Fed like it's going on style, right? So we understand that, right? But here's the interesting part. Well, also he says it should be in a digital form, which means it can be used without the banking system. So it will be at least 10 times cheaper than the present transactions through banks and currency exchanges. And what he's talking about there is the Chinese have CIPS, the CIPS, which is the Cross Interbank Payment System, or Project M-Bridge, which was just utilized for a big trade. It allows these countries to trade, whether it be currencies as they are now or central bank digital currencies outside the SWIFT system. That's what the Project M-Bridge is. And that was devised by or developed by China, United Arab Emirates, and I think Singapore. So
this is getting established right now. And I've been saying, BRICS, stop playing around. We have the solution waiting for you right here with the XRP ledger. And what's so interesting about this is that we've already highlighted, I made a whole playlist called BRICS Loves XRP. You can find it on my YouTube, where I've already put together videos showing you how banks and institutions and money payment providers within these BRICS nations have already started to use XRP. So although BRICS hasn't unilaterally accepted XRP, they've already started to use it within their countries as far as, individual institutions, banks, and money remittance companies. So as Andy Schectman's saying right here, though, we need to bring this on. They've already been piloting all these other projects, and you can see the shift is here. This is the one thing that's missing that allows these countries to get away from the US dollar. And there's still so many people that are underestimating the power of BRICS. So many people want to just call BRICS a nothing burger. Oh, it doesn't matter. They're not going to use XRP. They're not going to do this or that. Well, what you're missing is that the BRICS is bigger than just the 5 countries now. They've added another 6. They got another couple dozen. There's actually over 20 that want to formally join. But then you have to consider that this group that we're talking about is a group that's moving away from the US dollar, and it's way more than just those couple dozen countries. We're talking about dozens upon dozens of countries that are unilaterally ditching the dollar, and the ability for them to now do deals outside. We highlighted how Iran and Sri Lanka and Iran. Sri Lanka was paying in tea to Iran for oil. Right. And so they're already doing direct commodity for commodity swaps. And with DLT technology, it's only going to be more accessible, more efficient, and it's going to be on blockchain where they can actually trust each other. Because that's the thing. The BRICS haters keep on saying it's a nothing burger. They don't trust each other. And that is true. Insert DLT trustless systems, and then you can start to actually get something done. And that's all they're missing. So we'll continue to watch that unfold. I just find it very interesting how there's already many of these BRICS nations where XRP is already thriving in their countries. Look at India, for example, and how many banks they have there partnered up with Ripple already. Now, continuing on, Bitcoin surpassing gold and investor portfolio allocation, JP Morgan says. This is what's been interesting lately is that we've seen Bitcoin ETFs, right? They've taken away from the gold ETFs, but we've seen that gold, the spot price, has still gone to new all-time highs. Why is that? Because these central banks are loading up at a pace that we haven't seen in 50 plus years. So although the traders that want to play around with derivatives of these underlying assets, Bitcoin or gold, right? They're dropping their gold ETFs and they're going to Bitcoin, sure. But it's not stopping the underlying asset gold from still rising to new all-time highs, and that's because of the physical demand. You're seeing lineups out the door and down the block for a mile in China right now for these gold and precious metals dealerships, which not all of them are buyers. Some of them are sellers as well, which is actually another indication of a weak China economy. Folks having to sell their gold right now, right? And gold trading at an all-time high. So a lot of people are going to go take profit. And when you need to feed your family, this is why you stack precious metals as another option. During these times, you can convert it then and be able to feed your family, which is what they're doing in China right now. And then there's the other side of it is they're stacking up as much of it as possible. Now, it's interesting, although we saw the Vanguard CEO step down, we still have the Vanguard CEO, the new one, I'm guessing, is who stepped in here, saying that they're still not going to offer the spot Bitcoin ETFs because it does not belong in a long-term portfolio and it's not a store of value. You know, and it's so interesting because we've seen where Wall Street has came in so heavy. BlackRock buying above 70,000. BlackRock and Fidelity now have over 300,000 Bitcoin, right? They're picking up a few percentage points of the entire supply. It's incredible. But then on the other end of the spectrum, you still have Vanguard, the second largest money manager in the world, saying we're still not offering it. And many of us thought when the Vanguard CEO stepped down that that was his admission that he had made the mistake and that they were going to go pro Bitcoin ETF and start to offer it. But they're not. And, you know, it brings me back. I put out a tweet here earlier today, and this is where I stand on Bitcoin. It's just so simple. Bitcoin is the best tool right here. Bitcoin is the best instrument for speculation. That's the only reason it's in the number one spot. It's the most liquid, most currency pairs, listed on the most exchanges. And it's a great tool for speculation, right? It takes more effort to get the metals shipped directly to you. It takes more effort to go buy gold and silver than it does to just pick up your phone and buy Bitcoin. And it's become so liquid, it's available everywhere, and it's so easy. This is why Bitcoin is in the number one spot, in my opinion, is because it is the best instrument in the world right now for speculation. And that's all the utility that you get from it, other than a inefficient and expensive payment. You can use it for that too. That's a really crappy utility. But other than that, it really is just an instrument for speculation. And I'll give some respect on it because, I mean, that's gotten it pretty far. But you have to understand how these blow-off rallies will end, right? Where you're going to see huge corrections back to the fair market value. And this is why I've been calling for Bitcoin to correct now for a while. You saw a glimpse of that today, back down to 65,000. I don't think that that correction is over. But I also don't think that Bitcoin's going to be topped out at 73,000. I do think that Bitcoin goes over 100,000 this bull run because this is still a very speculative bull run. And it is the best tool. It is the best instrument for speculation in the world right now. The ease, the access, the liquidity, it's all there without a doubt. Now, what's interesting, though, is we're starting to see these funds that have XRP in them starting to grow. And we're talking about the Grayscale fund here. This is the Grayscale Digital Large Cap Fund, which includes Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, and they have Avalanche along with Solana, I believe. There's like 6 coins in this large cap fund. But right now, each share of this ETF, sorry, it's not an ETF yet, it's just a trust. But each share of this fund represents 1.03 XRP. And there are 15 million shares. So approximately 16 million XRP is held by Grayscale at the present moment for this one ETF. There will be many. And so this is why I said we are in the beginning, early, phases of a massive bull run. It's not just going to be Bitcoin. And the reason why I'm so bullish on XRP is because typically we get this rotation from Bitcoin to Ethereum to altcoins. And we're going to see that same rotation this time around, but you're going to see it happen at the ETF and the Wall Street level as well, where, you ask who's a buyer of Bitcoin above 60 and 70,000? Well, the Wall Street boys have been eating it up. Who's going to be a buyer of XRP at $5 and $10? Well, when they finally get around to offering spot XRP ETFs, or Grayscale rolls this large cap fund into an ETF, folks are going to want exposure because it's going to be the first time that they can ever get exposure with their retirement account, with their 401k, with their pension fund, whatever the retirement account's going to be. Wall Street's now coming in and they're happy to buy tops. I don't buy tops, but Wall Street's been eating it up. And this rotation now is going to be happening just like it does every cycle, from Bitcoin to Ethereum to XRP and the altcoins. And then the same thing that's going to be happening here from the lower end, the retail level of meme coins. There's still plenty of crap. A lot of people are saying that because there's all these other coins, it's going to take away from XRP. And while I believe that that will be the case temporarily, eventually that liquidity flows back into real value and real utility, and where folks think that they can actually get, somewhat of a store of value. And the Bitcoin store of value narrative, I don't think, is very strong. And there will be folks that move from Mickey Mouse meme coins into Bitcoin. But I think there's also going to be a lot of people that rotate into XRP. So you're going to have rotations into XRP from the bottom up, meme coins retail into XRP, but then also from the top down, historically, Bitcoin to Ethereum to XRP and alts, but it's going to be happening at an ETF Wall Street institutional level. You add the fact of, you add in part of my thesis, which is we're going to get more money printing from the Fed, and you put even more fuel on that fire, right? So now it's going to be interesting to watch the rest of these funds. Who's going to be the first one to have an XRP spot ETF in the United States of America? It is coming and it is inevitable. Now let's continue on here, folks. I appreciate everyone for stopping by. If you haven't already, please like this video. Please share it out far and wide, whether you're on YouTube or watching this on Twitter. Please make sure to share this video out. Let everyone know that we are live for a Friday night session. And I greatly appreciate all of you guys for stopping by. Cheers. Okay, let's continue. Federal prosecutors recommend a federal judge sentence Sam Bankman-Fried to 40 to 50 years in prison, a $11 billion fine, and forfeiture of some assets here. So it's looking like they want to strike it down. What I'm wondering, though, is if they just are throwing this out there for the masses to kind of see that they're trying to play tough, right? They're acting like they're playing tough with Sam Bankman-Fried, and really we're actually going to end up with way less time, right? Or he'll do some sort of deal. He'll get out some sort of way. He's got friends in high places. And so it's going to be interesting to watch this one. But nonetheless, they are talking tough. And then we get the SEC getting struck down here today. You love to see it. Another day and another instance of the SEC getting struck down. This time it's the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals has halted the SEC's new climate disclosure rule, preventing it from going into effect pending a review. Now, there was a lot of pushback on this climate disclosure rule from both sides of the aisle, actually. But now we're seeing that it did get passed, and now it's getting struck down already. It didn't take long for the Fifth Circuit to strike it down and halting this rule, preventing it from going into effect. So we're going to continue to watch that one. But another fat L for the SEC. You love to see it. Now, this is only another slap on the wrist fine. You can't call this one an L for JP Morgan because you know that they probably made billions of dollars off of this. We saw two instances now of JP Morgan paying fines in this last week. The first one was the Federal Reserve giving them a slap on the wrist fine of $98 million, I believe was the number, right? $98 million to JP Morgan. What are we talking about, right? That's an absolute joke. And to the Federal Reserve, a group of private central bankers fining another group of private central bankers and making them pay the original private central bankers, right? That JP Morgan actually owns a large stake in. It's one big club and we ain't in it. But JP Morgan did get another slap on the wrist fine this week, this time $350 million for rigging the markets. So in the last 2 weeks here, you got 350 plus 98, little over $400 million in fines. How many billions of dollars did they make on that, right? And this is why we have to put up such a fight. I know a lot of people want to discount ETHgate. They want to say that we're just pissing in the wind, that we're wasting our time. We're not going to get anywhere. The rich are always going to make their money, and we have no impact. You're forgetting the fact that we have been cited, the XRP army has been cited by Brad, by Stuart Alderati, and the team at Ripple for having a major impact in the SEC versus Ripple case. We've been cited as actually helping and aiding Ripple defeat the SEC. So we have been having an impact, and we have been having victories in the court. And we do have good courts and judges across this land that are sending up to the SEC, just like the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, striking down the SEC climate disclosure. So we are having an impact. We do have John Deaton running for Senate right now. And he just put out a video today saying that he dropped the first $500,000 of his own money on his campaign. John Deaton, $500,000 big ones on his own campaign, and now he's asking everybody else to help contribute. He's trying to raise $1 million by March 31st to send DC a message and to fuel his campaign. He said if he could self-fund, he would, but clearly he's got some skin in the game, throwing 500 grand down. And now he's asking for our help, which is so respectable, so commendable. And this is the impact that we are having. A lot of people want to just give up, shut up, and bend over. Let me know how that program works out. If you're not going to put up a fight for your family, then I will. Because I'm not only fighting for my family, I'm fighting for your family as well. I want our children to have a future. I want us to have a free market, a level playing field. I don't want our capital markets to be corrupted. I don't want us to lead the world in corruption. And right now we are. And if you want to sit down, shut up, and take it, then that's your prerogative. I don't do that. I don't play that way. And we are having an impact, despite what all these Twitter talking heads who have accomplished nothing besides sitting in Twitter spaces all day bitching and complaining, they ain't getting anything done. And so it's no surprise that they think that we're not going to get anywhere when we have had major victories already. Now is not the time to let up. And guess who else is not letting up? That would be Empower US. Fight for transparency at the SEC continues. So while all these guys don't want to put up a fight, the rich are always going to do their deal. We have no chance. We're just little guys. We're little peasants. We're just going to be little slaves. We're going to let Elizabeth Warren win and then fly around on PJs while we eat bugs, live in 15-minute cities, have no purpose in our life, have no children, no family, and we just live a miserable life towards our death. Are you kidding me? What are we here to do? Right? I'm going to go down fighting. It's like 50 Cent said, get rich or die trying. Save our country or die trying. What are you willing to fight for? Do you have any values? Or are you just a limp, you-know-what, softy who's going to bend over and take it? Let's step up and do something. Oh, no, we stand no chance. Twitter space. Let's cry. Let's cry about it. We're having some wine tonight. We're having some fun, folks. Drop your comments, questions down below. We'll be taking Q&A here in just 1 second. I got 2 data points, and then we're going to Q&A. I'm sorry, but I'm going down shooting. We're going to get rich or die trying. We're going to save this country or die trying, and Empower US is leading the fight right here as well. The fight for transparency at the SEC continues. The more we learn, the worse the conflicts of interest look. Empower Oversight seeks additional documents to shine light on former SEC leadership involvement in the crypto decision making. So right now, they're honing in right here. Let's take a look at it. Years into a quest to uncover information about how the SEC made decisions about its regulation of cryptocurrencies, Empower Oversight is seeking new specific cryptocurrency-related communications of Bill Hinman and the Director of Division of Corporate Finance, or who was the Director of Division of Corporate Finance at the SEC from 2017 to 2020, and Jay Clayton, the former chairman of the agency. Empower filed a Freedom of Information Act requesting seeking to understand whether Mr. Hinman and Mr. Clayton's relationships with private sector firms, companies, and individuals improperly influenced any of the official actions during their time at the SEC, and to what extent the SEC and its ethics officials mitigated, investigated, and resolved such conflicts. Empower's latest request asked for communications from May 2017 and December 2020 with new keywords, email addresses, and private entity names based on materials gleaned from previous requests. So they just keep on digging, and they keep on finding more and more conflicts of interest. More than 2 years ago, Empower began pressing the SEC for transparency in how the agency was making decisions on cryptocurrency issues. Despite very little cooperation from the SEC, Empower learned through the previous FOIA requests that Hinman had met with entities that had interest in the cryptocurrency that the SEC was regulating. After one of those meetings, Hinman had declared in an August 2018 speech that Ether was not a security. Let me make it very simple for everyone to understand. What's ETHgate about, bro? Why do you keep bringing up ETHgate, man? Let's just focus on building on the XRPL, bro. Let's build on the XRPL and let's also fight to save our damn country. How about that? Okay? It's very simple. First part, the damage is done to the XRP community. They sued Ripple and they included all of the XRP community by saying that XRP in and of itself was a security. They were struck down by Judge Torres' ruling on July 13, 2023, that XRP in and of itself was not a security. So the first part of ETHgate is the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit, the XRP lawsuit, and the damages done to us. We had to go on the defense. Part 2 is the profits that they made. And this is Bill Hinman, obviously, Joseph Lubin, and the gang. I just leave it at that. Joseph Lubin and the gang. Gary Gensler and the gang. You guys know, I don't have to go through the whole list. Part 1, damages done, XRP lawsuit. Part 2, ETH free pass and the profits that they made. And the third part is the broader corruption of our capital markets here in the United States of America. We won't have a country left if we let them just take this, if we let them go all the way. You know what their agenda is. They put it in the white papers for everybody to read. They're coming after every aspect of our lives. And what's the alternative? Why do you keep bringing up ETHgate, bro? Because I want to save my country. That's why. This is much bigger than XRP. This is much bigger than crypto. And although, does ETHgate relate to the XRP story? Should it be in an XRP documentary? Abso-freaking-lutely. What is the biggest part of this whole story was the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit. And the boomerang, the other side of that, was the free pass. What is it all part of? The broader corruption within our capital markets. They don't want you guys to get rich. They don't want you to build wealth. They're attacking anybody who's legitimate in this space, like Ripple, who's trying to be open, transparent, and do the right thing. That's who they go after. Meanwhile, they allow the ETH free pass to take place. A token factory for fraud gets created, and they're still cashing it out. If you want the space to be taken seriously, well, maybe we should call out the bad actors, right? And so for me, I think that we got to focus in, because we did the call earlier this week with Steven, and the biggest, feedback that I got was folks still were confused. What's ETHgate about? And so this is why I just put out the video today, and I'm trying to make this very simple for everybody to understand the 3 points that everybody can remember, everybody can repeat, and everybody can start to wrap their minds around. First off, the XRP lawsuit, the damages done to us. Second part, the ETH free pass and the profits that they made. And remember, it's not just us being crazy. Steven Narioff himself said that we're talking about trillions of dollars, a word that starts with a T, he said. And when he said that, me and Jimmy Valley both lit up. You could see the twinkle in our eyes when he said a word that starts with a T. Oh boy. Getting us excited here. Steven Narioff, Ethereum whistleblower, someone who was wrapped up and thrown in is a scene out of the Blacklist, a scene out of a movie, a Jason Bourne movie. What happened to America, man? It was all fraud. It was all fabricated. And Steven Narioff, God bless him, as I mentioned, folks think this is a game. Look at what they did to that Boeing whistleblower, and that was just over Boeing. Think about what they're willing to do to protect the entire financial system. In the SEC, which, as you even heard Donald Trump acknowledge in his interview with CNBC this last week, he talked about how, well, it was funny the way that he said that Jay Clayton didn't have any issues. It was like, Jay Clayton didn't have any issues. Did he? Did he? You guys tell me. And, he said that space is usually rife with fraud, rife with manipulation, and there's so much money involved. I see Thomas just dropped a 10 spot there. By the time it is obvious, the majority of the money will have been made and average people get the crumbs. ETHgate will always be important, even if they were corrupt then, they are corrupt now. And that's so true. Thomas, 100%. RT drops a 100 spot. Last night's episode was seriously fire. Keep up the good fight. YouTube is convenient, but I listened on X as well. RT, I appreciate that, brother. Yeah, tonight I figured I would just fire it up on both. We got people on X, we got people on YouTube. You make your preference, and we're going to bring you guys the content. And RT, I greatly appreciate your support, my friend. Thank you so much for the super chats. Let's continue on, folks. Final data point of the night right here. Ongoing debt, currency, and liquidity crisis. How do we solve it? Okay. We've been talking about this, and we're nowhere near close to finishing this off. In fact, you're seeing, we've highlighted how these banks have trillions of dollars of unrealized losses on their balance sheet. You think it's bad when your crypto bag goes down a little bit? You think you got some losses? Try trillions of dollars of unrealized losses at these banks right now. right? This is what we're talking about. Now, I'm going to play this clip here. This is Brad Garlinghouse asked in a Q&A, what role can XRP and the XRP ledger play in alleviating a liquidity crisis? Listen in on this one, folks.
I love the easy questions.
You might not love this one.
Uh-oh.
But I'd pay all my XRP to have you answer it. Maybe not really. With Ripple focused on providing on-demand liquidity and the world facing what's probably the biggest liquidity crisis ever, what role do you see XRP and XRP Ledger and similar technologies playing in alleviating such a crisis?
Well, so if you think about like what causes those kinds of crises, one of the dynamics, and by the way, there's lots of inputs into a crisis like that. One of them is friction. One of them is time. If you can reduce friction as measured by time and cost, that's good. That's just a good thing to minimizing, the risks of liquidity issues. Like I don't pretend that XRP is a panacea for all of these issues. What I do believe is if we can successfully integrate into the existing system, we're going to more rapidly bring the benefits of these technologies to a much, much, much broader audience than if we try to circumvent the system. So I've been incredibly pleased by the engagement we've had, ranging from the IMF to, central banks. Look, Ripple's going to continue to work with those players. That's part of why we made the announcements we made this week about expanding, or really creating our presence more concretely here in Washington, D.C. And I'm optimistic that if these technologies continue to propagate across correspondent banking, but other industries, that's going to be good for any liquidity crisis.
Yeah, and like you said, it's not the end all be all. XRPL is not going to get all the money, but we're prepared to handle most of the money, right? We're prepared to handle all the money, and the little bit that we're going to get is going to be significant. And as Brad said right here, working with the IMF and other banking institutions, and we're going to continue to work with them. Oh, really? Right? And so all these folks that think that, Ripple's just playing around, they're just dumping on us. As I continue to say, if you're actually willing to take a look at the fundamentals have just gotten better and better and better. And folks are so confused about the facts. They think that today's price action correlates with the fundamentals. Today's price action has nothing to do with the fundamentals. And if you want to just throw darts at the wall, trying to pick the next Mickey Mouse meme coin that's going to go up based off of hype, based off of story, based off of waiting for Elon the Musk to tweet about your coin, then you can do that, right? Or, as it's been time tested and proven by some of the best investors in the world, look at Warren Buffett, right? Value investing, right? Chasing good companies when they go on discount and just continuing to stack and accumulate. And this is what we've been doing with our fundamental positions in DLT technology. It's not just XRP, but I just continue to ask, show me a project with better fundamentals. Show me a project that is, or show me a better solution for the debt, currency, and liquidity crisis. They have hundreds of billions and trillions of dollars of unrealized losses on their balance sheet. Central banks are taking record losses right now. Do you understand how close the Bank of England went to going bust during 2020? And they still are not very far away. Right? So the problem is, massive for them. They have trillions of dollars of derivatives exposure, right? But one of the things that we're seeing them do right now that's an undisputed fact is they're stacking a record amount of gold. And so this is where the gold and XRP endgame comes in for me. How do you fix your balance sheets that are so horrendous, right? Are you going to be able to do that by dishing out new real estate loans? No. Are you going to be able to do that by dishing out new business loans? No. Bankruptcy filings are up past great financial crisis levels, so definitely not going to do it that way. But if you are able to pick up assets like gold, XRP, and others that can back a new financial system, that can provide, as Brad said, the liquidity, you have an answer to your problems. And I'm not saying that XRP has to be the only one. We're seeing countries like, El Salvador is now going to be buying one Bitcoin every day now. So they just moved their Bitcoin onto cold storage into a vault within their nation, right? And now the El Salvador president just said that they're actually going to be buying one Bitcoin per day until it's no longer affordable to do in fiat dollars, which I don't really get what that means, right? But nonetheless, the point remains is that some countries are going with Bitcoin. Some countries maybe will go with Ethereum. With the current actors that we have in our government, I wouldn't be surprised if they said that Ethereum is going to be the new backing of the financial system, right? Even though they know that they can't do that because it's just such a piece of crap and it's just so terrible, right? But you continue to see that. Brad mentions, right, the building out the development, the relationships in DC. So what folks need to understand is that despite the SEC lawsuit, despite today's price action, it is not stopping the fundamentals growing for XRP and the XRP ledger. Just look at what's now being talked about. Folks talking about Circle issuing USDC on the XRPL. If you think for 1 second that Ripple hasn't already been sitting down at the table with Circle, I don't know what you're missing, because if they've been sitting down with the IMF, you can bet your bottom dollar that they've been sitting down with Circle, right? There's not one institution in the world that matters that Ripple hasn't been sitting down with, essentially. Right, we've seen across the board here, and so the growth has grown in the United States. Even despite the lawsuit, they've still set up a branch, an office in DC. They are so closely entrenched. And what I believe is going to be this inflection point is this bull run, which I've already said for 3 reasons is going to be massive. We have the ETFs. And then we have more money printing coming in this cycle because they got to paper over this election for Commander-in-Chief Joe Biden, right? So we're going to get the ETFs have already driven us pretty far over 70,000 for Bitcoin, back up to 2.6 trillion for the overall space. But then we get more money printing, which takes us even further. But then we get a broader rotation that's going to be taking place. And I believe that XRP, when that rotation comes into XRP, it is going to push it way past that previous all-time high. While many people want to disregard and say that XRP's not going to go past all-time high, or if it does, it's only going to go to, $4 or $5. That's fine. The fundamentals that I see take us much past that. And I think that many people are waiting for that to happen this year without understanding that the bull run that we're looking at extends out to the end of this year and into next year. So a lot of people have been asking me, what do you think XRP is going to go to this year? I'm not focused on what XRP is going to go to this year. I'm focused on what XRP is going to go to this bull run, and this bull run extends out until next year. So you have to have patience. You have to understand the difference between fundamentals and hype. There's a big, big difference. If you are trading Mickey Mouse meme coins and you're doing hype momentum trades, just like I did with the Say token, I took my 30% profit and I ran. Now it's pumping once again. That's great. That's fantastic. I made my money. I'm happy with my 30% return, and I run. I hit the exits. I get out of the casino. I turn my chips into cash and I bolt for the doors, and I was able to escape. And then I buy more XRP, right? And so I think that we have a rotation that's going to be coming from the top down on the ETFs, from the Bitcoin spot ETF into grayscale large cap exposure to XRP spot ETFs. We've already seen XRP spot ETFs already in Europe. So it's a rotation from the top down, Bitcoin ETH into XRP. And then it's a rotation from the bottom up, retail Mickey Mouse meme trading into XRP and other real utility value. Some of that's going to Bitcoin, obviously, and I believe that XRP is also going to partake in that. And so I'm looking for XRP to actually be one of the last movers in this bull run. And it's going to wear people so thin. A lot of people aren't going to be able to make it, right? And people keep on leaving. Every single video that I make right now, I get a laugh out of this. Every single video that I make right now, folks are just crapping on XRP. Every single video. They're saying, man, enough is enough, man. It's been 3 years I've been holding this thing. And I'm thinking, man, some of us have been holding this thing for 5, 6 years. Like, welcome to the party, bro. We've been here for a while. If you think that you've been holding this thing for a long time, 2 to 3 years, there's been a lot of other people that have been holding this sucker for longer. But nonetheless, have the fundamentals changed? Just ask yourself that question. And no one can reasonably say that the fundamentals have gotten worse. Has the price gotten worse? Has the price not done what you wanted it to do? Yeah, sure. Okay. But look at the fundamentals. Show me where the fundamentals have gone wrong. Show me where the fundamentals have gotten worse. The only thing that's gotten worse is that we haven't been able to fire up our partnerships in the United States of America because of this lawsuit. That's the only thing that's been bad, really, on the fundamental side. On the price action, well, it gave you a glimpse at what it can do. 30% in 24 hours. showing you what's coming for XRP. Stuart, I see you, my friend. God bless you. Big 100 spot of Aussie bucks. Appreciate you, Stuart. Thank you so much, brother. Keeping it real, Zach. We are part of the solution. We are not a part of the problem. Ignore BS FUD, folks. This game is too easy. And that's why we're here every single day. Isn't it funny how some of these guys faded off into the distance during the bear market? They haven't been putting out content on a daily basis. They ran out of stuff to say. They don't know how to put out content during a bear market, do they? See, we put out content whether it's up, down, left, right, doesn't matter. And for our community, it's incredible. We already have so much cooking. We already have so much momentum while XRP's not doing crap. What do you think happens when XRP just starts to go, $1, $2, $3? Look at what the XRP community, look at the vibe. We had a quick vibe check this last week when XRP went up above 70 cents there for a brief moment in time. It was up over 30% in one day. The community hopped on hopped on these spaces, and everybody, we had solved world peace. Everybody was making love. Everything was fantastic. Dudes were reporting that they got their long lost girlfriend back. Everybody was happy as could be. And meanwhile, on the other side of this, there's folks that literally, I swear to God, dudes can't satisfy their woman back at home and they want to blame me. Dudes have issues with their own life and they want to come blame someone putting out content. They want to blame XRP. This is how ridiculous it's gotten, right? And that's fine. I think the best solution is to have accountability and understand that, yeah, we've all overinvested. You have to understand that I did the same thing. I'm not here to crap on anybody who overinvested. I understand it's very serious. I'm not going to, calm myself down. Oh, you get too hype about XRP. No, dude, it's the fundamentals are what turn me on and get me excited. I'm sorry. It's just natural. If the fundamentals weren't so dang good, we wouldn't get so turned on. And, so I get it. I've been there. 2019 and 2020, before I met my lovely wife. And I was just a lonesome dude who had nothing but free time and money to throw at this crypto stuff. I went, guys, I overdrafted my bank account investing in XRP. I've been there too. Okay, I'm no different. 2018, 2019, I started moving everything over to XRP. I drained my bank account. I skipped meals to buy XRP. Thank God, I'm in a different position now, but a little bit more responsible now. But I had to learn those lessons too. I get it. Did I go try to blame, the content creators that I was watching back then? No. God, no. Because they were the ones who woke me up, who brought me the fundamentals, who made me understand what was taking place. They educated me. They weren't telling me, oh, you got to buy XRP today because it's going to the moon tomorrow. You got to buy XRP today because it's going to 589 tomorrow. None of them were saying that. The OGs, digital asset investor, Brad Kimes, some of the greatest, right? I was listening to them back then, and DAI and Brad Kimes, they were the ones that woke me up from being a Bitcoin maxi to understand, wow, XRP is not a banker's coin. It's not centralized. It actually is solving real world problems. It's solving problems that are way bigger than what Bitcoin can solve. And so that was my own fault for making myself go broke buying XRP back then, right? I didn't blame anybody else. And what did I do? I kept on going back to work. I kept on building. And that's what I did. And, this is the problem, is that many folks are investing on short-term time frames and they don't understand the difference between investing and gambling. They're throwing money at it now so that they can try to double up their money in the next week, in the next month, without understanding that if you don't have the patience to see this thing out. One of the biggest takeaways I had from the Vancouver Resource Investment Conference back earlier this year was Ross Beatty had 14 companies. He's a legend in the commodity space. He had 14 companies that provided over 10x returns. And Rick Rule, who I had on my show, if you guys haven't seen that interview, I highly recommend you guys go watch it. Timeless interview with legendary investor Rick Rule. One of my biggest takeaways was Rick Rule said that he got 10 investments in Ross Beatty companies and he was able to get 10x returns on those. but on every single one of those, he wrote it down 50%. And he made the point, if you're not willing to buy, you know that you've made a good investment. This is actually from, I believe Warren Buffett or Charlie Munger, one of those. Basically, if you want to know whether or not you made a purchase with conviction based off of fundamentals, based off of real value, the day that you buy a stock, if you see it, and this applies for crypto as well, obviously, the day that you buy a position and you see it go down 10, 20%, if you're not willing to buy that dip, then you probably don't have real conviction or real fundamentals in what you purchased. Because anybody who does eats up those dips, eats up those pullbacks, right? If you actually understand the fundamentals and if you actually have conviction. Now, if you're just throwing money and you're floating through the wind and the next shiny object that goes by, you throw money at that, the next hot thing, oh, somebody tweeted about this coin, oh, somebody made a video about this, an influencer showed me some crap, well, you don't stand a chance. But if you're a value investor and you understand the fundamentals, show me where the fundamentals have not gotten better for XRP and they don't continue to get better and better over the past few years. In the midst of a lawsuit, what do you think that is going to happen after we get out of this lawsuit? I'm with you, Zach. Not only did I sell my shoes, I influenced many others to do the same. Man, what Peaky? Who needs shoes anyways, right? Who needs shoes? I still skip meals right now. Actually, I do a little morning fast. My go-to routine right now is I don't eat in the morning, and then I have a couple eggs. I fry up a couple eggs about noon, 1 o'clock. So I do a little morning fast. And yeah. So I'm still skipping meals. I'm still eating ramen. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure tonight. I'm going to wrap up this session. Everything's at my website, ZachRector.com. If you want to support our show, you can first off smash the thumbs up on this video. Please help me out by sharing it far and wide. And if you want to get tapped in with our community, we got our Discord weekly call taking place tomorrow morning at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. I'll be back on YouTube at 3:30 p.m. Eastern tomorrow as well. Just sign up through Patreon to get access to our Discord, and then we also have the rest of our affiliates and community resources available at ZachRector.com. Just dropped my most recent installment of the business development program as well. If you want to get in touch there, we can help you out, whether you're looking to grow your side hustle, whether you're looking to scale up your existing business, or whether you're just looking to learn about business so that you can apply that to your job. We got to make sure that we're bringing it in. We got to make sure that we protect it. And then we're figuring out how to multiply it. And we're looking at opportunities across the board, from private equity to real estate to cryptocurrency, digital assets, folks. This is the greatest transfer of wealth in world history. And all I am trying to achieve is to get you and your family and your business on the right side of this transfer of wealth that is already well underway. I appreciate everyone for stopping by. God bless all of you. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.